What's up, Soul Tribe? It's your girl Dominique with Empathic Guidance, and I'm back with another video for you guys today. Now, today I'm doing something that I never did before, but I seen Ralph Smart do like a movie review for the Joker, and like he expressed some hidden messages that he's seen throughout the movie. And so I tried to go see the movie this weekend with my kids, but the movie theater that was closest to us, they didn't have a show playing there anymore. So I was drawn to this movie, and I didn't even realize this was the part 2 to the movie. But I was drawn to this movie. It's called Maleficent, the Mistress of Evil. And it was crazy because the connectivity that I felt to the movie, the relativity that I felt to the movie, especially coming from a woman that practices in the esoteric realm or esoteric community, I was particularly like not only drawn to it, but I related to a lot of the movie. Now, I don't know if a lot of you guys have seen Maleficent, the Mistress of Evil, but she was of a different species. She wasn't human, or she was half human, half something else. She had horns and wings. I think she might have been supposedly like, I don't know. She wasn't a raven, but she had a raven that was her messenger or whatever. And it was crazy because in tarot, birds and things of that nature often show up in cards as messengers. Like, it's meant to tell you that it's a message behind whatever this person is coming to tell you. And specifically, I had just got a new deck where ravens were the birds that were the messengers, and that was in my Crystal's Visions tarot deck. And Maleficent was an outcast. She was literally an outcast of the outer skirts of her own community or kingdom. She ruled the kingdom of the Moors, or she allowed her daughter Aurora, which is, like I said, technically it's a spinoff from Sleeping Beauty. So Maleficent is the villain that is normally in Sleeping Beauty, the one that essentially puts the spell on Aurora for her to sleep. And so at the beginning of the video is basically expressing the fact that even though she tried to correct her wrongs and step into the light and do something positive for the same person that she cursed, that nobody ever forgave her for her dark side or for what she did that wasn't particularly right in the past. And she, not only did she take Aurora out of her spell, but she also raised her as her own. So, you know, people never view her as that, as any part of good. They only viewed her as bad, number one, because she looked different. Number two, because she had magical powers and she possessed magic within herself, period. So technically, Maleficent was divine feminine. She could do any type of telekinesis. She can cast spells just by looking at you, which I think people consider the evil eye. It was just a lot of things that she did. So, you know, I was interested, especially with me practicing the craft, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't really expecting it, but it really did, like, it really was exciting to me because it was all type of magic being performed in there. So again, I feel like the part of her that was rejected by the kingdoms that was outside of her kingdom, it was because they was afraid of what they don't know. Just like other people look at what it is that we do when it comes down to the things that we believe in, the things that are considered, you know, dark to people that are Christian. I definitely related to that, and I feel like other people in this community could relate to that too, because a lot of people have preconceived notions about, like I said, witches, brujas, and everything else, because they don't understand magic and they don't understand how magic is used in our everyday life as it is. So they kind of, sometimes people they come off kind of hypocritical, because you can wish and pray and, you know, write down the things that you want and that be considered okay. But if you add some herbs, if you add some sugar, if you add some spices, if you add some essential oils, if you use crystals, which also come from the earth, if you use any element, the sun, the moon, any kind of wind, whatever, then people automatically go from, oh, you know, you can wish it into existence, but the minute that you add materials to your manifestation, that makes you evil. When they don't realize that, in a sense, we kind of worshiping what source put here for us. When we do moon rituals, and when we sun gaze, when we, like I said, use crystals for protection or enlightenment or anything else, we're doing nothing more than using natural resources given to us by Spirit Source himself for us to use. So, you know, even though those type of things aren't necessarily necessary, because you can use your intentions and I guess have it happen just as good. I don't know, because I use materials, you know. So that was one thing that I noticed, was that the whole town was afraid of her because of the powers in which she possessed, which not only she used for evil as well as good. They never saw the good side to her. They saw her as darkness. They saw her as somebody that couldn't be accepted, that needed to be shunned. Just the same way as we go through our ascension and then we're isolated by those that we once knew and was close to. In addition to that, she was invited to, and I guess I should put now that there probably will be minimal spoiler alerts here. But one thing that I will mention was that she was very protective over the human daughter that she raised. And she went to, I don't know, dang, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so her daughter was being married to a prince whose family didn't accept her. You know, they looked at her as being, like I said, a demon, a witch. They didn't realize that, you know, or recognize whatever positive she had done, or whatever positive she had used her powers for. So they kind of set a trap for all of, like, Aurora's magical friends. And Aurora was, you know, outside of Maleficent, she was like the main character in this movie, and that would be Sleeping Beauty. Aurora is Sleeping Beauty. So Aurora was planning her wedding with her mother-in-law, her soon-to-be mother-in-law, who happened to be more evil. And I would consider, I hate that, like, I'm not trying to put people down for believing in Christianity. It is what it is. Believe in what you want. That's the thing. Most of the time, spiritual people, they don't try to sway people away from their beliefs, even though everybody else try to sway us away from our beliefs. We just understand that people have different beliefs, and we accept that, where other people, they don't. They see something unfamiliar and it's deemed automatically as negative. So where that kind of fits in with the movie is that because the mother of the prince didn't quite understand Maleficent or the kingdom of which she reigned over, she kind of set up a trap in order to inject them all with iron, which they were all allergic to, which would turn them all to stone, or, you know, have them break down, crumble, or whatever. And that she invited everybody to the wedding with the intentions of causing every last one of their demise. So they had a trap set up to where these people would be injected with iron, have iron just thrown at them, so that they can die, and so that, you know, they felt like they were competition just because they had different beliefs. And I, again, compare that to spirituality versus Christianity. They are the more judgmental ones. They are the ones that are afraid of us because we choose to have a different belief system than they do. We choose to be unindoctrinated. You know, we choose to reprogram ourselves to what we believe is true, or what is true to us, you know. Even if it isn't true to others, or even if it is scary or negative to others, we have a deeper understanding, and that's the reason why we implement this in our everyday lives. Lastly, once Maleficent felt like her daughter chose a side, and the side was the one of her soon-to-be mother-in-law, she decided that she was going to abandon her. She met the group of people that she was most like, which to me, That's us. We always seek for like-minded individuals, especially when everybody else abandons us. So she ended up finding the kingdom where everybody that was just like her was at. And her whole entire life, she had to go with being the eyeball out, and that's why she wasn't accepted. So she was rescued and brought to this place where everybody of her kind, everybody of her species and caliber was there, and they worshipped her because she possessed the powers that they didn't, which made them feel like they could win against the humans. So here she is, all of her life being ostracized from the whole community, like this whole kingdom that her daughter was being married into. Again, she was the only one that was even like that in her own kingdom, but everybody still loved her there. But she couldn't cross the bridge and go to where the humans reside without people running rampant, like going crazy, running away, like a witch, you know what I'm saying? So she was deciding that, you know what, just like how we decide when our families turn their back on us because of our difference and the way that we think and the things that we do, she decided, you know what, I'm not even going to go back because I'm appreciated here. People see my worth here. They see that these powers can be used for good as well as evil, and not, they don't deem me as some dark individual. They deem me as their queen, somebody to worship. And that's how we feel too. Not only are we understood within our own community, but in a sense, our divinity is recognized in a positive light towards each other, as opposed to everybody that's on the outside looking in. Now, here's the very last point that I absolutely loved. Like I said, she kind of disappeared and went off, or she was found by a species of her own and taken to this kingdom where all of the rest of the species of her likeness was there. And so she decided, you know what, I'm gonna just stay here. My daughter already turned her back on me. It's no sense of me trying to go back to the Moors or go back to my daughter because she chose them over me. So the wedding day came. And I'm pretty sure that initially she wasn't going to come. However, I don't know if she received notice from the raven, which was her messenger, or if she just had that maternal instinct that let her know something was not going right. But again, that trap was set in order to kill off everything that would be essentially related to the esoteric community. And she showed up, you know what I'm saying, like bearing fangs, like horns fully drawn, wings fully flapping, because her mama bear protection kicked in, and knowing that her daughter was there and trying to save whoever came from that kingdom of all these make-believe things, fairies and trees that talk and walk and all of this, just magical things. So they were trying to kill off everything that wasn't human. Maleficent showed up, and she had the opportunity to kill the queen right then, the queen that set everybody up for a trap. But her daughter begged and pleaded with her, like, this is not you. I know you. You're my mother. And in that moment of weakness, the queen, the human queen, the queen from whatever kingdom it was that didn't want to accept the non-humans, she had the opportunity to stab Maleficent right in the back with something that was filled with iron. And she crumbled down into ashes. And Aurora began to cry and scream and holler at the demise of her mother, or the ashes, the pile of ashes that was left from her existence. And her tears, like the liveliness of her tears mixed with the ashes, actually had Maleficent rise from those ashes. And when she rose from those ashes, she was a phoenix. And I was blown away, because that's literally us. I mean, fueled by our tears, fueled by our pain, the pain that we essentially turn into power, all of the rejection that we receive, all of the isolation that we receive, we rise from that like the phoenix. So I was very proud at the end. The wedding went off, it was without a hitch. It was great. I won't tell much more because I know people actually want to go and see this, but I just had to do the breakdown. And I don't think that this movie just hit theaters. I hope it did. And y'all know I don't watch TV, so when it comes to previewing news, I'm late. Like, I'm just finding out today that John Witherspoon passed away. God rest his soul. He was an Aquarius as well. So, you know, I'm a little late when it comes to stuff like that because I don't watch TV. But what I will say is that it really reminded me of us, all of us, the chosen ones, the people that just, they don't ask for this awakening. It just happens to us, and all of our lives we are pointed in the direction that we need to go, and we don't go sometimes until we're catapulted into it, until something so traumatic happened that we don't have any choice but to face what it is that we're here to do. So with that being said, let's be those phoenix that rise from ashes. Let's turn our pain into power. Let's turn that isolation into acceptance of ourselves, because it doesn't matter who eliminates us from our life, because we're standing in our authenticity. Because that should be the number one important thing to us, not maintaining false connections, you know, not being something fake to be liked, you know. If being real, if being you, if being authentic causes your isolation or causes your rejection from others, then so be it. Accept that. Just like the trap witch said, either swim in that shit or drown. You know, if standing in our power makes us witches and terrifying, then so be it. Let people be terrified, because at least you're being true to yourself. At least you're going at least you're going by what it is that you truly believe and are passionate about, and not what others think that you should believe and be passionate about. So I wanted this to be under 20 minutes, and we at 17 right now, so I'm gonna leave it here. But that is my take on Maleficent, the Mistress of Evil. And I hope a couple of people, especially those that are whatever, practitioners, witches, brujas, people, alchemists, whatever, people, shamans, I mean, there's so many names for it, but you know what I mean. I really hope those that practice and are passionate about the craft and what it is that they do. This shirt just looking so maternity. But about what it is that they do, actually take the time to go see that. If not, I think you can rent it on YouTube for $2.99. So that's my take on the movie Maleficent, the Mistress of Evil. I hope you guys take the time to watch it and like it. If